Hi, I'm Dari P.T. Brown. The reason I'm here today is to talk to you about a couple of things. But one thing that is important, when you look back on your life and you look back at what has happened in the world, what has happened in America, what has happened in your state, your city, your neighborhood, you can blame it all on you half the time. When you really think about it, all the things that have taken place, we can blame ourselves because many of us have not been active. We have not been involved. All we do is either sit up, watch the news, talk about I heard this, I listened to this, someone told me this. But what about you get involved? So you won't have to say I heard this, but I was there. I saw this. I was part of this. I know what happened because I was there. So many times we always talk about what we heard, what we see, what other people tell us, but we're not on the battleground fighting these issues. We're not on the battleground making sure these things don't happen. All we can do is sit and talk about, I saw this on TV. I read this in a newspaper. My boy told me this down the street. My homegirl told me this. But the reality is you wasn't there. You really don't know what's really taking place unless you get out there and get involved. So what I'm telling you, when you look back on your life and when you look forward, ask yourself, are you going to be a part of the movement or are you just going to sit on the sidelines? Now, many of us, we all pray. But the reality is, prayer without action is pointless. You cannot pray and not expect to take action. If you want your prayers answered, you have to take action. People, I can go on and on preaching to the choir, but the reality is, if we want a better America, we want our cities better, we want our states better, we want our neighborhoods better, our communities better, we have to take action. We have to be involved. We can no longer listen to the rhetoric of the newspapers. We can no longer listen to the television, because let's be real, those are money-making machines. All they care about is spreading gossip, or spreading quote-unquote news in a way that stimulates the minds but doesn't get the actual story out there. They talk about stories in a way that over-exaggerates things. But if you're out there, if you're on the front line, if you know what's going on, then you can be involved in the process and you don't have to listen to the newspapers. You don't have to listen to the news. You know what's actually happening. You know what's happening. You're actually there. You're actually a part of the process. You're actually a part of the movement. So let's stop talking about what I heard, what my boy told me, what my homegirl told me, what I saw on the news, what I saw in the newspaper, or read in the newspaper. Let's start talking about, man, I was there. I can tell you what's happening. I can tell you what's taking place. For those who are involved in their neighborhoods, their communities, their cities, their states, and are involved in the American process called politics, I commend you 24/7. But for those who not, who just getting involved, your goal hasn't stopped here. Continue to fight. Continue to be a part of it. Because the reality is what affects us more are our local politics and state politics more so than the politics in Washington. So we need to ask ourselves, what are we going to do to be involved on the local level, in the state level, as well as on the federal level? I'm Adari P.T. Brown, and this is my perspective.